What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. Why am I wearing headphones? I don't even know why I'm wearing headphones. Didn't make sense. It's just me today. In case you didn't see the intro, just me. T-Shroom is having some technical difficulties. I'll talk about on the other side of the intro, but I am so excited to have a live show with you guys today. Bitcoin within the last hour struck $99,000. Will we see 100,000 live on the show today? It did pull back a little bit. We're back down towards 98, but with the way it has been moving recently, anything is still on the table. However, with that said, we all love that news. We love this news coming from the SEC. Gary Gensler making an official statement over the last couple of hours as well. But the main purpose of today's show is going to be talking about the 5 key reasons why altcoin season is just around the corner. You do not want to miss a single second of this show. Make sure, though, to smash that like button, hit subscribe. But first, we got to roll the intro. All right. Well, here we go, guys. We got a great show lined up. As I said, just me today. Reason why. So T-Shroom just moved into a new house. He's in the same area, but with what his wife is doing with travel, physical therapy, they moved across town, and something about his computer, I think he did something like put on Apple Intelligence, and it's causing a big problem. Hopefully we have that fixed by tomorrow, but you can see he's in chat. He's with us, and I'll tell you this right now. I'm going to speak for him. He's doing better than he deserves. I don't know. Maybe today he's not doing better than he deserves. His computer is not doing better than he deserves. But you know what? The show goes on, and the topics keep coming, because even if T-Shroom can't join the show, Bitcoin and crypto are still going to be popping off, and that's exactly what is happening today. Now, let's see. We just put a poll in here. I was going to say, Crux, I was going to have you put a poll in here. Do we hit 100K Bitcoin today? Let's find out what the answer to that one is in a couple of minutes. The other question we're going to ask, though, in a couple of minutes, after we probably get like maybe a couple hundred votes on that one, do we see a reversal on Bitcoin at or around 100K? That is going to be a very, very important question, but we'll tackle that here in the show. Before we get going, though, sponsor of today's video is Blofin and CoinW. They are the exchanges that we use to trade every single day, these crypto markets. If you are looking for a way to get in on all of this amazing price action and make some extra money trading, first of all, go join those exchanges, because every entry you have there, you get another entry to potentially win $500 at the end of every month. It also is just another way to support the bros. Be a part of our great trading community. Go check out Blofin today. Let's get in here and let's talk about, I almost said share my screen T-shirt, but it's not. It's just me, one-man band. Let's talk about the bubbles. What's happening right now in the world of crypto? As you can see, it is a sea of green. But something we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the show is, notice some of the ones that are going up big. No, I'm not talking about MOG or PLSX. I'm talking about ARB and Optimism. What are ARB and Optimism? Well, if you didn't know, they are layer 2s on Ethereum. Is this a sign that Ethereum is about to make a major rally? We're going to tackle that topic and a whole lot more. But first, before we get into those 5 reasons that I do believe alt season is right around the corner, let's just do some basic Bitcoin technical analysis. We told you guys the other day, look for a move to happen. We were just in a symmetrical triangle pattern, meaning a flat level of resistance, a rising level of support. This pattern, if it played out to its full potential, would send the price of Bitcoin up to, if not a little bit above, that $100,000 mark. Of course, 100,000 is also there because of a psychological level that we have been talking about. And I say we, the entire crypto community, we have been talking about a 6-figure Bitcoin since all the way back in 2020, when the bull market started to take off and people began to talk about just how bullish Bitcoin could go. Well, we never got there. We stopped at 69,000, but now it seems like it's within reach this very moment. I do want you guys to know at the moment we are building some 4-hour bearish divergence. If you see that thin red line and you pull up your oscillators here, going onto the Luxembourg oscillator, this doesn't confirm until we get a confirmation bearish candle, or on my chart, that would be a blue candle. But at the moment, back here on November 11th, our oscillator made it all the way to 99 when the price action was sitting merely at $89,200. But now as we're approaching 100K, and again, we could climb a little higher, we're only seeing the oscillator get up to 89. So this is going to be something absolutely to keep an eye on. It's a reversal indicator that pops up when we're overextended. We're seeing, of course, up here twice recently in the last couple of days, we've seen 2 reversal indicators flash on this oscillator. You do see the money flow, despite the fact that we're going up right now. Notice the money flow is actually starting to curve to the downside. So this is something I'm watching. I've told you guys 100K is going to be a level where there's at least some form of a sell-off. Is it a major sell-off? Is it crazy deep? I'll talk about that in a second, but I do think we're approaching some significant resistance. You're seeing we're getting back into overbought territories. We're back in positivity on things like the MACD, but if you go over to the daily chart, yeah, while we're seeing some positivity here, we have been living in the 100% overbought territory. The MACD is the highest it has been in a very long time. In fact, it goes back higher than we saw back in March of this year. To find a match for how high this oscillator is, oh my goodness, it's higher than we ever saw even back in 2021. This might be the highest that we have ever seen the MACD on the daily chart be for Bitcoin. I don't want to use that to maybe stir up like fear, uncertainty, and doubt, otherwise known as FUD. I'm not sitting here saying that means the top of the Bitcoin market is in. What I'm saying is this is just the most overbought on the MACD we've ever seen in the history of the daily chart. Then you go into the Luxembourg oscillator, the super powered oscillator that we love on this channel. You're seeing a little bit of a resurgence here, but again, a lot of reversals, the highest oscillator we've seen in a while. I told you guys my prediction yesterday was that we were going to set up some bearish divergence here on the daily chart where we do not get back up towards 93, the peak we had back here on the 16th. We set a higher high in price action, but lower highs on our oscillators, and we do end up seeing some form of bearish divergence matching right up with that psychological sell order around $100,000. But that's just what the charts are saying. We have 178 votes now in here about this earlier poll. Let's see what the results are looking like. Do we hit 100K Bitcoin today? It looks like the leader is saying yes sometime later today. In second place tied is no by Thanksgiving and yes during the live stream. Very, very interesting. Seems like a lot of people still are bullish. Next poll, though, Crux, I want to get up there, is does Bitcoin break through and continue past $100,000 on this rally, or will 100,000 be a big sell-off spot? Before we move on, let's talk about that. And I've done this before, but I want to remind maybe anyone who's joining today for the first time or the second time, shout out, put a 1 in chat if you are just, you just found the Investing Bros channel here more recently. We've talked about this before, that as you get into this price discovery mode, historically during this part of the cycle, if you go back here 4 years ago or so, this part of the cycle ends up seeing roughly a 30% pullback. Now, I don't think we're going to get 30% this time, but back here at the end of the Bitcoin season, before altcoin season started, there we go. We got our liars in chat already, French Toaster, and who's the blue name? Who's the blue name that says that this is their first time? The poll just covered it for me. Username, of course, French Toaster and username would say they're here for the first time. Anyway, yeah, a nice 30% pullback here back during the end of Bitcoin season when alt season started. And again, that's going to be the main topic of today's show. What are the signs and what are the 5 reasons why I think that alt season is about to start? This goes back even further. If you want to go 4 years before that, back all the way to 2017, the beginning of 2017, where we had, again, a transition between Bitcoin season and alt season back here at the end of February. We saw another 34% pullback before prices would increase. What's my overall point here? My point is not that we're going to have a 30% pullback, but at some point, the mark of alt season is going to be a switch from where Bitcoin is extremely high, and it's the leading indicator with things like a very high Bitcoin dominance. It will switch to where altcoins take the lead, and we'll see some form of a pullback. Now, we're a much more mature market than we were 4 years ago or 8 years ago. I think that a more realistic target is going to be somewhere in the world of roughly 80 to 85 $1,000, meaning a 15 to 20% pullback. I think it's going to be very interesting to keep an eye around this 0.5 level on Fibonacci. Some people are going to say maybe even all the way back to 77. So that'd be like a 23% pullback if we reject at 100 back to the golden pocket. But I kind of like this area between 81 and 85, the 0.382 and the 0.5. That is my estimation on where I do believe Bitcoin is going to want to pull back when altcoin season starts. Now, before we keep going on, I want to make sure I explain the logic of how that's going to happen. And then we're going to get into the 5 reasons I think this happens very, very soon. Some people were asking, does this mean when alt season happens or when Bitcoin rejects, should I sell my Bitcoin? Or is that what people are doing? And the answer is no. I'm not saying nobody's selling their Bitcoin. And what I mean by selling is trading their Bitcoin back for currency of like the dollar or the British pound or something like that. People are not going to be taking their money and returning it for US dollars or fiat currency. What they're going to do is they're going to look at Bitcoin and see how just overextended, overbought this amazing asset is. And they're going to take profits, not to put back into US dollars, but to put into some of these more underperforming altcoins that have greater upward potential. We'll talk about some of those here later on in the show. But alt season is not taking profit on Bitcoin. It's swapping profits from Bitcoin into lesser performing altcoins. And that is what causes the Bitcoin dominance to plummet, meaning the control that Bitcoin has, and altcoins to skyrocket. Okay, so that's the psychology. People have been asking me, Tim, are you taking profit at 100K? I'm not taking profit in the sense of I'm taking that money in US dollars. I will be transitioning, swapping, moving some of my Bitcoin holdings into some of my altcoins that still have a long way to go to the upside. But let's get in here. Let's talk about alt season and what's going to happen here and why there's 5 key reasons that I believe it's about to start very, very soon. Reason number 1, everybody is talking about this today. We got to go to the news of the day. Why are alts pumping? Why is Bitcoin pumping? It's an announcement from Gary Gensler. On January 20th, 2025, I will be stepping down as SEC Gov Chair. Now, he has a thread. I don't recommend wasting your time. Ultimately, it just is thanking people for his tenure. He says thank you to the president for putting him in the spot. He's had such a pleasure over the last so many years serving as the chairman of the SEC. Skip the fluff. Let's just talk about the meat and the potatoes. Gary Gensler, the crypto terrorist, the man who has single-handedly kept crypto from going parabolic to this point, is officially stepping down. A couple of weeks ago, he announced it, or he gave a weird speech or a weird presentation where he pretty much said, like, I've had such a pleasure. It's been an honor working for the SEC, but he never really specified, is he talking about stepping down? Is he actually giving us a date? Well, today it's official. That tweet is everything that we have been looking for a very long time. He gives us a date. He tells us what's happening. The days of Gary Gensler are numbered. Now, that's still over a month and some change, right? We still have roughly 2 months of Gary Gensler still as head of the SEC, but I would imagine the majority of that is preparing to transfer that power to somebody else. I don't believe he's going to be able to have any real control over the next 2 months on any type of regulation or punishment towards cases. In fact, I bet you a lot of the cases that they were working on are going to be coming to a close, resolving as he leaves. That's reason number 1. A massive weight on altcoins that has been suppressing it for years now. Not just XRP, but the rest of the altcoin space as well. That is gone. Reason number 1, I think alt season is about to start. Reason number 2, though, and we've kind of mentioned it in the stream so far, but it's going to be back on the charts, and it's Bitcoin dominance. Now, I've told you I think there's a chance that Bitcoin gets a little closer. Bitcoin dominance gets closer towards 62%. But I want to back up and just remind you 2 years ago, way back, almost 2 years ago, early 2023, the Bitcoin dominance was sitting around 43%. And I told you guys on this channel and others that I was a guest on, I said that I still thought that by the end of this Bitcoin season, Bitcoin dominance would make its way back towards 60% dominance. There's a lot of factors that went into that, but ultimately the moral of the story is people laughed at me. People said it was crazy. It was never going to happen. Little did I know I was being backed up by one of the smartest people in the space, a guy named Ben Cowan, who's been talking about this for a long time as well. But I stuck to my guns and I said, listen, guys, alt season will not be here until after Bitcoin dominance hits 60% dominance. Well, who's laughing now? We have been there now for a couple of weeks. And we're not necessarily done just yet. Like I said, I kind of revised from 60% more recently to saying, hey, there's a chance we go a little bit higher. 60% was more of just a target area based off of technical analysis. But now it's looking like 62 really could be on the cards. But that being said, we are approaching / we are above what people have been expecting, or people that have been looking at charts and understanding how these cycles move. We are above the expectation that we have had for a very long time. There's only so much more room to the upside here for Bitcoin dominance before it's time for it to come back down to reality and altcoins begin to make their run. So this chart, is it done just yet? No, but I'm also not predicting alt season start right now here today. We won't actually know for probably a couple of weeks after Bitcoin dominance falters that it's officially done, but I do believe that time is coming very soon. We've hit our target. It's time, in my personal opinion, to start making some of those changes. Let's move to reason number 3 that I do believe alt season is just around the corner. We're going to stay in the world of Bitcoin, and that is that Bitcoin is closing in, as we said earlier, on $100,000. Yes, that oh so crazy psychological level that's been on the table for a long time. I've said this on the show several times, but I'm more talking to anyone who's here joining for the first time or second time. Bitcoin to 100K is going to have major psychological levels of more than likely selling pressure. The amount of people who have had take profit, wow, little bubble right there. The amount of people that have had take profit levels on Bitcoin at 100K for years is absolutely going to be a factor we have to get above. That being said, I'm not saying it's impossible that we don't shoot above and maybe go closer towards 110. Either way, though, what's going to happen at 100K is going to speed up a process very, very fast. We are either going to reject at 100K, okay? We're either going to reject right there and, like I said, dip 15, 20%, come back down here towards $80,000, or Bitcoin is going to explode through this level of resistance, something that a lot of people would be very surprised to see. And what it's going to do is it's going to get explosive very fast because it's like it just got released. But that hard rally, that explosion to the upside, somewhere again between 110 and probably 110 and 120. Let me redraw this. It's going to get overextended just a little too far, a little too fast, and a pullback will eventually happen. People will take their profits and they'll move them into the rest of the altcoin space. Now, this one, of course, we went to 120. I don't think we're pulling back down below 100K. We're not going to 80, 85. I'm not married to this pullback of 80,000, 85,000. What I'm married to is the concept of at some point, we're going to see a 15 to 20% pullback on Bitcoin, as it will just be considered overbought, overextended, and there will just be so many better options for your hard-earned money to be invested in at the time. After this, though, if anyone's wondering and saying, does altcoin season mean the Bitcoin bull market is done? No. What ends up happening is Bitcoin pulls back that 15, 20%, and then it continues to go on to set new all-time highs. If you want to see what that kind of looks like, going back here to 2020, like I said, here in January of 2021, we pulled back 30%, but then we would go on to bounce from 29,000 all the way up to 65 before we really saw any problems. Same thing back here in 2017 when we had the bull market, the alt season start back in February of 2017. We pulled back 30%, and then Bitcoin would go on to still explode, despite the fact that at the same times, the Bitcoin dominance chart, if you look at those same time frames, fell off of a cliff. Go back here. Oh, I got to go out to the weekly chart so I can show you this cleanly. Go back here. Remember I said January 2021? Well, we only had like 3 weeks of negative action, but we had a whole year of negative action on Bitcoin dominance, despite the fact that during this time period, Bitcoin would rally. Same thing back over here in February of 2017. Despite the fact that Bitcoin would go on to record crazy high levels, the Bitcoin dominance would plummet from 95 all the way down to 35% dominance, despite the fact that we were in a bull market. That's what happens when alt season comes to play. That's what I'm expecting again. Bitcoin going above 200,000, making crazy highs, but the Bitcoin dominance peaking out and coming back down closer towards 40% is my target for the top of the bull market. But that is simply reason number 3 that Bitcoin is about to hit $100,000. Let's talk about reason number 4 that I believe that we're about to see an alt season. And this one, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the show because there's some things that address with this one, but it has to do with Ethereum. Ethereum, for the first time in a while, has shown signs of life over the last couple of weeks. Let's go to the daily chart here and take a look at what's happening. Ethereum, after being very, very low, even though people thought it was going to be bullish after an Ethereum ETF, fell back down closer towards $2,000 and found itself in a squeezing symmetrical triangle pattern, right? Well, then here, after we found out that Donald Trump would be the next president of the United States, Ethereum showed signs of life for the first time, rallying back up towards 3,400, a level that we told you guys to keep an eye on. Then we hesitated, and we are forming at the moment what is known as a bull pennant. It's a symmetrical triangle pattern attached to an explosive level right here of what we call a bull flagpole. This flagpole would predict on a breakout. Now that we're breaking out here today, again, big moves here for Ethereum, up 10% on the day. We should be looking up towards $4,300 in the very near future. All-time high for Ethereum will come shortly after that, up here closer to $4,800. But we are finally seeing Ethereum have signs of life again. And anyone who knows the cycles of how these things often work is you see an explosion in Bitcoin dominance, an explosion in Bitcoin price. Even the Ethereum over Bitcoin, Cardano over Bitcoin, Solana over Bitcoin, these charts seem to flow to the downside. But then Ethereum starts to show signs of life. It starts to steal that dominance away from Bitcoin, and right behind it comes the roaring altcoins. That's reason number 4, is that Ethereum is coming back to life. And if you need further proof, before I move to reason number 5, if you need further proof about Ethereum coming back to life, just check out what, again, it's at the moment 2 biggest layer 2 solutions. And no, I'm not talking about Polygon, everybody. Polygon is not performing at the same level as these two. Optimism is up almost, it was at one point up over 30% today. Arbitrum up almost 20% today. The Ethereum ecosystem is popping off, giving me a good reason to believe that ETH is back. And that's a coming sign that the alt season is right around the corner. But let's go to reason number 5, and that is the altcoins themselves. To show you this, I want to show you some charts and what we're looking at, starting off with the total chart right here. Now, I'm very bullish. This total chart is going to continue to skyrocket to the upside. In fact, when we go to the weekly chart here recently, over the last 2 weeks, we have set a new high in total crypto market cap, eclipsing the $3 trillion mark we set back in November of 2021. But this total market cap, this includes Bitcoin, this includes Ethereum, and then the entire altcoin space as a whole. Make all their market caps come together, and you get your total number, in this case, $3.2 trillion. Excuse me. Man, I'm asking to drink again. $3.2 trillion for crypto as a whole. It's broken to new highs already. What we saw happen last time this came to occur, back here, we had a high in January of 18, around 760 billion. We broke through it barely, came up, and then guess what happened right here? Guess where the total chart actually saw some small pullback. The first week of January, we saw 3 weeks of negative price action before the total market cap would actually continue to the upside. What does that correspond to? It corresponds to Bitcoin's 30% pullback, the exact same timeline. But if we go to total 2, for anyone who doesn't know, total 2 is a chart that represents every cryptocurrency excluding Bitcoin. So this one has Ethereum and every other altcoin, but does not track Bitcoin. And this one, you can see, while we're rivaling the highs of this cycle, we still have a ways to go to get to new all-time highs for our total 2. This is where Ethereum's emergence will really come in and boost this chart. And if you go back over here and you take a look at how this was responding, when did it really take off? Oh, would you look at this right there on the same time that Bitcoin started to fall? The last week of December, first week of January, this is when the total 2 chart took off. And then, of course, you have the total 3 chart. Total 3 is excluding both Bitcoin and Ethereum. It has already set a new all-time high for this cycle, but it is still far from setting an all-time high altogether. Same thing, you go back to January of 2021. This is when everything really, really, really got cooking for this altcoin. This is another sign that alts, They're doing some great things right now, but they're about to explode even more so. I mean, take a look here. This people who were excited about alts back in 2021, that's bullish. This whole time frame is very bullish, but it doesn't touch a candlestick to what happens over the next couple of months as true alt season takes off. That's exactly what we are looking at potentially happening right now. Get ready to move your bags into altcoins. It's going to make you some money. Now, I want to make sure I clarify before we move on and kind of cool off. I'm going to get a drink here in a second. But I saw someone comment a question under, I don't know if it was a video. I can't remember if it was a video or it was an X post. But they pretty much asked, they were saying like, hey, does alt season come at the end of the bull market, right? So if we're about to get alt season, does that mean the bull market's about to end? The answer to that question is no. That is not what it means. Remember, we were talking here, and I got to show my chart again. We're talking about alt seasons going back to, and I'll show you the Bitcoin chart for this one just to really help you. And I'll go to the longer time frame one, less stuff here. The altcoin season did not start until January of 2021, okay? Bitcoin pulls back, but then Bitcoin would go on and set highs in April, pull back because of Elon, but the ultimate high would be almost a full year later, about 11 months later, 11 months later, 10 months later, it would actually peak out in November of 2021. A long, long time after altcoin season. If you were to even look at, let's say, Ethereum during this time period. Again, Ethereum kind of got moving in November, but really picked up here in January. It wouldn't set a new all-time high again for a long, long time, even with the big pullback happening right there. Same thing for if you were to go back and look, let's say, at the one that happened back in 2017. Again, we come back over here. Alt season starts here in February, March of 2017. Right here, Bitcoin falls down, and then Bitcoin would explode. Altcoins would explode. We wouldn't see a bull market top until December of 2017. So we're talking about 10 months later, 9 months later. It wasn't, we didn't have a top for a very long time. And that's simply the 4-year cycle, right? So if the 4-year cycle stays intact, that means we really shouldn't see an all-time high until the end of Q3, early quarter 4, which I've made my opinions well known on that. I'm kind of the belief that this cycle will be the end of the 4-year cycle. It's still intact at the moment. We're still using it. It's very vital. But when we talk about bull market tops, I have this sneaky, itchy suspicion that the 4-year cycle does not stay intact after this year. But that's a different topic for a different day. Let me get a drink of water. Let me know in the comments, what are you guys thinking right now about everything we just gave? That was the 5 reasons why alt season is just around the corner. We have 198 likes, despite the fact that we have 860 people watching. It's a terrible ratio. Smay, what do you think about that ratio? Are you in chat still? Smay's he's probably not in chat because he's probably just weeping his eyes out at those numbers. We definitely gotta smash that like button. Get it a little bit higher here. But I want to transition as we're talking about the alt season and stuff that I've said here a lot. I want to explore an idea with you guys, see what you kind of think about this. I'm kind of mulling on it. So take what I'm about to say with like a grain of salt. It's kind of an idea in the works, but I'm interested how many of you would kind of agree with this take and say you see the similarities. So obviously what we just talked about, the Bitcoin season in 2020 evolved into the Ethereum season. And so Ethereum front runs the altcoins. And then that turns into the altcoin season. All right, so it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins. I'm watching things happen right now, okay? And I'm seeing, obviously, Sui's been doing well. XRP's popped off. We're going to take a look at those charts here in a little bit. But what coin has been super special this entire bull market so far? So going back to November of 2022, what altcoin has just been the coin that everyone compares every other altcoin to? It's Solana. And what is Solana accused of from time to time? It's accused of being the Ethereum killer. Now, I'm not going that far. I don't think that's actually going to happen. I mean, let's just talk about that for a second. Look at the coin market cap rankings here. Ethereum is at $374 billion in market cap. And then we have Solana at $113 billion in market cap. Yeah, in theory, it's a little less than a 4x, but we're not talking about going from like 1 billion to 4 billion. We're talking about adding over $260 billion just to catch up to where Ethereum is. I don't think that Solana is going to surpass Ethereum and become the number 2 coin. But there's an argument to be said. It's been treated in this bull market like the second most important cryptocurrency. In fact, I told you earlier, if you looked at, let's show these real quick. If you looked at charts comparing to Bitcoin, what just happened right there? I don't know. I felt like lights just flickered on me. Ethereum over Bitcoin, right? We have been dropping ever since the bottom of the bear market, right? This is very clearly going down. That's normal, and Bitcoin picks up dominance, but Ethereum over Bitcoin just fell off a cliff. I mean, went from 0.08 Bitcoin all the way down. It touched 0.031. Catastrophic. You go to Cardano. I mean, Cardano's got a nice bounce back here recently, like we thought it would, but it dropped all the way, like way back down to levels we hadn't seen since January of 2021. XRP, of course, just went down the tubes. But Solana didn't. Solana, after starting a dissension in 2022 down to about May of 2023, has actually been picking up a lot of momentum on Bitcoin. And in fact, right now, the Solana over Bitcoin chart is forming a bull pennant pattern. What's a bull pennant pattern? Again, it's a symmetrical triangle attached to an explosive flagpole. We really could see Solana do something special here and go up high. But my overall point here is saying we've been tracking with this record or thought that it goes from Bitcoin season to Ethereum season to altcoin season. Again, it's one of my reasons why I think alt season is close. But what if this year we actually saw, instead of a Bitcoin to Ethereum season, a Bitcoin season into a Solana season? Again, Solana's popped off here recently, and then that's the coming measure of our altcoin season. What if Solana is the front runner of how altcoins move, and it's the deciding factor? The same way in 2021, Ethereum blazed the trail for the rest of the altcoin space to go up. What if this year it's not Ethereum that's blazing trails? It's actually Solana. And it makes me really think, listen, I'm a big believer in diversity of coins. I'm a big believer of making sure you're spread out because you never know what's going to happen. I still think Ethereum is going to pop off very much so, but I'm getting this itch and this feeling that I should be transferring a little more Ethereum into Solana than I have at the moment. Again, I'm processing, I'm thinking about it. For all I know, I'm going to talk about this, and then next week Ethereum pops off and goes to new all-time highs, and it's outperforming everybody. You know, that's just how these things tend to work. But I'm really getting to a place where I'm saying, I don't know if Solana surpasses Ethereum in this bull market, but could it get very, very close? A lot closer than some of us think. Does that mean Ethereum underperforms or Solana massively overperforms? I don't know. But it is something that I'm chewing on. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking as well about this Solana to Ethereum comparison that everybody's talking about. But let's get in here and let's talk about some other altcoins while you guys are smashing the like button. Again, over 880. We're going to get above, listen, let's get above 1,000 viewers. So you guys smash the like button right now. When you smash the like and you comment in chat, it tells YouTube that this show is a good show. We want to get more people in. Let's get over 1,000 concurrent here today. And I'll tell you this, we'll choose someone to win $50 at the end of the show if we get over 1,000 concurrent. 600 likes or 1,000 concurrent, and I will choose somebody to give $50 to at the end of the show. Let's check out some other coins that are popping off today. A lot of them I've actually already mentioned here, but let's go into it. Let me share my screen. Starting off here, Ethereum, like we talked about, we were just discussing it, breaking out, doing some amazing things here. Got to get above this level of resistance at 3,500. But again, this bullish formation does suggest 4,000 or 4,400 could be coming very soon here for Ethereum. When I look at the daily chart, we did get a nice cool off on all of our oscillators. We even pulled back, I think, to lower time frame smart trails, hitting some major levels of support. Ultimately, Ethereum, I'm going to go back to the daily chart because this is more helpful. Ethereum's ready to go. Ethereum's ready to go very easily right now, people. Remember, I said you're going to take some profit from Bitcoin. You're going to move it over into altcoins that are underperforming. Well, right now, Ethereum has underperformed and looks like it has a great upside for investors. So don't be surprised to see Ethereum kind of pop off over the next couple of days. I know I'm saying that just following a question I asked about Ethereum's future, but I still am a big believer in what it is doing. Solana, very dangerously close. We're talking about these two coins, very dangerously close to hitting new all-time highs. Now, if you were to go to Solana's Coinbase chart, I think the Coinbase chart has it as at least like matching all-time highs. So let's zoom in over here. The all-time high on Coinbase set back on November 6, 2021 was $260 on the dot. And if you go to today on Coinbase, let's see where we touched today. We got to $259.89. So not actually even officially kissed to the cent, but we're within 11 cents on Coinbase of being at all-time high. On Binance, it's a little different than that one. On Binance, if you go back to that same time period back in November of 2021, we're going to go back to the 7th. It says that we actually got to $266.35 versus if we were to go to today, get back over here, the peak that we've had so far today is only at $259.70, okay? But we are very, very close. Very, very close here on Solana at getting to those new all-time highs. The question is, does it need to come back down? Is Solana so special it's got to retrace? It's a little bit different of a story here for Solana than it is on Ethereum. I'm going to tell you the charts, and I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. But 100% overbought, and we've been there. The MACD, kind of similar to Bitcoin. Now, this one's not an all-time high because we go back I'll have to go back to March of 2024 to match these highs. But what happened when we were this high in the MACD? That was a top, a local top for Solana. Am I saying this is a local top? No, I'm not saying that. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm just looking at the data and saying we have not been this overbought since March. And what happened in March is we sold off. Then I come over here to the Luxago Oscillator, and I see, man, we have just been living up here at a very overextended mark. The money flow, despite the fact that we've increased here even the last couple of days, has gotten sideways. I mean, it's a lot harder for the money to keep going to the upside. This is almost like a bubble that needs to just cool off a little bit. Kind of similar to Bitcoin. It might go down a little further, but it might need that 20 to 30% cool off. What would that kind of look like for this coin right here? If we were to trace, let's say this is the top here. Let's just say we kind of bounce off of all-time highs. We go 266. Where would 30% bring us back down to? Somewhere in the world of 186. 20% would bring us back in the world of 211. Let's pretend, again, we'll pull up Fibonacci, what that would look like. You know, a lot of Fibonacci traders out there. Let's put it back again, 266. Let's pretend we bounce. Now that 180, 190 area, golden pocket would be sitting around 190, 200 sitting there around the 0.5 level. I don't think it's ridiculous or crazy to say that Solana is a little overextended right now, and a small cool off to a higher low back down between the golden pocket and the 50% mark on this recent move looks like a good level. And again, it matches with the expectation there, again, of somewhere between 20 to 30%. I can grab these tools correctly. There we go. 20% down to the 0.5, closer to 30% down here into the golden pocket. That's kind of what I'm watching right now. Does that mean I'm shorting Solana? I want to make sure people understand this. Am I shorting Solana? No, I'm not shorting Solana. I'm saying if I see 200 or 190, I'm expecting that to be the bottom of its pullback. And if I have dry powder I want to deploy into it, that's my trigger to buy in again with a good DCA strategy. But Solana, continuing to pile on the bullish outreach. Remember, the long-term opportunity here that we're kind of watching is just like Bitcoin. It was in a falling channel attached to an explosive move over the last couple of months. This is still something I'm tracking for the bull market to easily eclipse $1,000. The question becomes, do we stop at 1,100, 1,400? Do we go up closer towards 2,000? We'll have to wait and see on that one. But Solana, far, far, far from its all-time highs of this bull market and what we're going to see. I mentioned earlier, optimism, Arbitrum popping off here. In optimism, we'll start here. We were in a longer-term ascending channel that I told you guys we would break bearishly out of, but we got nowhere close to how significantly down we could have gone. But we are treating this former support level as resistance. This would be massive for optimism to get back above this blue line and keep moving to the upside. You're going to notice even with the massive spike we have today, we are nowhere close to overbought. We have a lot of room to the upside before optimism would be in danger of being considered overbought. If we look at different targets, we're hitting some take profits on the daily. But if we start to expand this, I wonder on the weekly chart, we're hitting the first level. Oh, we're under sell. So we have to wait for the take profits here. I'm expecting these take profits to probably be above $293 over the next couple of days on the weekly chart, if not even higher. This is a buy signal for the first time on the weekly chart for optimism since way back here in November of 2023. So that's a major, major sign there for optimism. Again, it's MACD got massively overextended. RSI was overextended. We had a great buy signal on the Lux Algo weekly chart back here in August. You have to be patient, but these things are working out very, very well if you guys are using Lux Algo to trade. And again, sponsor of today's video, Blofin and CoinW. If you're looking for an exchange to make some of these longer term trades, you want to throw maybe a 2x, 3x on these trades, add a little juice. You're going to want to find a good exchange. You don't need to use a VPN or KYC. If you're here in the United States, go check out Blofin and CoinW down below. That's what we're looking at there for optimism. When it comes to Arbitrum, it's a different camp, but it's a similar camp. We can get out of here and kind of clean this chart up for a second. It's not as explosive as optimism, but it is making signs. And for the first time in a very long time, since back here in March, we are setting higher highs and higher lows once again on Arbitrum. Now, I'll admit to you guys from a fundamental standpoint, at one point a couple of months ago, Arbitrum, despite the price being corrected, was still the most used layer 2 for Ethereum. I don't know the data on that one, but it is one that I expected to be, have a good bull market. It does look like we bottomed out here as a whole. Our oscillators are not telling us overextended. Now, are we oversold at the moment on this indicator? No, we're not oversold, but we still have a lot of room to the upside. And during a bull market, there's no reason to short. And sometimes even shorting when you're saying you're overbought is a problem. But if you're not showing overbought, if you're not showing you're overextended, there's literally no reason to short these types of assets. I think we have a bright, bright future to the upside here. That's the daily chart price prediction. Let's see if the weekly has printed. Weekly, similar to optimism, just printed a buy signal this week. Again, at least our smart trail sitting up here at 106. But I think we're going to go a lot higher than that. My expectation that take profit's going to be somewhere up closer to $182 by the time it's all said and done. And then, again, goes much higher. I think these are still coins that could see new all-time highs in this bull market. Last one I had planned here I want to take a look at, and then we're going to jump in and do some Q&A with the fam. XRP continues a great run here. And I know some of you are going to say, Tim, we hate XRP. You know what? You can hate XRP. I like money. In my investing concepts, I developed this plan I'm about to give you guys here a couple years ago. I like the ones that make me money. Those are my favorite assets. I like to invest and trade in the charts that are bullish and have bull candles. It's a simple strategy, I know, but it works. It works for me, and XRP fits the bill. So you can not like it. You can think it's terrible, but it's just gotten a bunch of great news here recently. And check out what we have going on. Let's go to the 4-hour chart so you can see us more clearly. We have broken now out of a symmetrical triangle pattern. Call it a bull pennant, just like the rest. I'm being really conservative here. I could go way down here. I'm going to kind of come into this range. This has a target at the moment for XRP to continue its explosive move up towards former all-time highs, not all-time highs, sorry, former 2021 highs we set back in April of 2021. I think the next target over the next couple of weeks is to get back up to those levels around just beneath $2. I think that's happening very, very soon. Of course, big news of the day, this guy, he's done. Well, guess what? There's no one who will benefit more from the absence of Gary Gensler than XRP. There's a lot of other coins that will. Cardano's going to benefit. I was going to benefit. In fact, I was going to save you some time. There's not a lot of coins that will hurt because Gary Gensler is gone. But there's not many that are going to have a better bullish catalyst than XRP. And so again, if you don't like XRP, you don't like something about the people or anything, I urge you, take emotions out of it, look at the charts, look at the news, look at the fundamentals, and understand if you like money, if you like to make money and increase your wealth and get one step closer towards creating generational wealth that allows you to leave your dead-end job and start something new to provide for your family, XRP investing is one of the things that's going to help you out here a little bit. With that said, that is what I have planned for today. Again, no T-Shroom, so we do not have a factoid of the day, but we'll make up for that tomorrow. I know we got 2 right. So I got Monday and Wednesday right. We missed Tuesday. So tomorrow on Friday, we'll do 2. We only need one of them technically to do a giveaway at the end of the week. But that is where we are at the moment. B.O. Man says, Tim likes fiat. I don't like fiat, but I like what fiat can get for me. And ultimately, my own end goal is to get some things in life that I need. So sometimes you have to use fiat to get things like a house. I want to buy a house for my family, set down some roots. You have to use fiat at the moment still to pay taxes and pay your bills. But I would love to get into a place where I can hold a bunch of crypto instead of holding US dollars and pay all of my bills and invest in new things. We're just not there yet. It's coming. But until then, I like what fiat can do for me, but I understand that crypto is my method, my way of acquiring more of that fiat. Just investing in fiat and holding fiat is not the best strategy. Swiper no swiping says Chainlink is pivoting to Link better with Solana. If it does that, it has a chance. I don't know what we mean by has a chance. It has a chance already. Chainlink still has such a bright future. Again, it's not popping off at the moment. It's not the sexiest coin in town. That to me, when we talk about alt season is going to see pretty much the entire altcoin space go up. That doesn't mean the leading gainers are going to be the Solanas or the XRPs or the Cardano's rallied here recently. Sui's rallied here recently. My biggest targets to look at are the coins that have amazing fundamentals and amazing relationships, but have not been special recently. Because, again, remember the psychology here, whale investors, smart money investors will understand, man, I've gotten a lot of good out of my Bitcoin holding. It's time to take some profit, not all, some profit from my Bitcoin and move it into another asset that I really like, that I have increased ability to make money. Well, if I'm taking profit on my Bitcoin and I look at Solana, I'm like, ooh, Solana's about to hit its own new all-time highs. That's great. Love Solana, but that's not a low investment. Like that doesn't have a lot of upside to it. That's not my choice right there. We look at XRP. Oh, XRP is the highest it's been in almost 4 years. I'm not saying XRP won't continue. I'm just saying I don't know if that's where I want to move my hard-earned Bitcoin profits. I even take a look at, say, Cardano and Sui and say, all right, are these anywhere close to, is Cardano anywhere close to its all-time high? No, but it's had a lot of momentum recently. Doge, it's had a lot of momentum recently. I don't know if those are the top targets. There may be small targets, but I'm looking at the Chainlinks and the AVAX and Ondo and Stacks and Caspa and ICP and DOT, these coins with amazing fundamentals and amazing futures, but haven't necessarily gotten that massive spark so far in this leg of the bull market. I think alt season is where those coins really come to life and do a lot for the future. So that's my take. That's my thought. You can disagree with it. You can say it's dumb. You can smash the dislike button is one of your options. It is what it is. Crypto Knight Texas, why bullish on DOT? Because DOT's still an interoperability play. It's still going to be such a large portion. Is DOT going to 20x? I don't know. I don't think so. Is DOT going to maintain a top 20 ranking? I don't think so, but I still think it has a large part of what crypto looks like moving forward. We'll see. I would love to see DOT stay in the top 20. I think that they do. I still to this day think that the smartest people in the world of crypto have still been people like Ethereum creators, like Vitalik Buterin, Charles Hoskinson, Gavin Woods. Like these people are brilliant developers. So you cannot count what they've built out because they built it with particular purposes and reasons. So for that reason, I'm still in on DOT. I forgot. I did have some stories. Other than Gary Gensler I wanted to talk about, and actually relating to Solana. So if you don't mind, a little bit rough transition here. We're gonna move over real quick. Marcus Palo, Tim, do you stick with your Ethereum predictions? I do for the next couple of months. You're asking about my price predictions. I think that Ethereum still could be sitting at 10,000 sometime in April. I think it could be closer to 18,000 by the end of next year. But give me a couple months, and if things don't go well for Ethereum, I'll change it. I'll downgrade it. So let's go into some news here on Solana. You're going to want to hear about this. Solana ETF negotiations with the SEC are progressing. The approval within reach. This would be massive for Solana. We know the Ethereum ETF didn't take off the way we thought, but I think a Solana ETF would be very, very bullish. This is coming from Elizabeth Tourette, or Eleanor Tourette. I almost said Elizabeth. I did say Elizabeth. Eleanor Tourette, who specializes in these things. She's quoted as saying, talks between the SEC staff and issuers looking to launch a Solana spot ETF are progressing, with the SEC now engaging on S1 applications. Recent engagement from staff coupled with incoming pro-crypto administration is sparking a renewed sense of optimism that a Solana ETF could be approved sometime in 2025. Don't expect this to happen before Gary Gensler leaves. In fact, even after he leaves, it's probably going to take just a little bit of time. Let's put our expectations at quarter two 2025. I think the realistic target you should be looking at for a Solana ETF launching. But that's right there, dab smack in the middle of the bull market. I think it would be very, very massive, very big. And remember, the prices, the pumps in the prices don't come after the ETF comes in. There's actually usually a run up before. What happened on Bitcoin, happened on Ethereum. What happens afterwards is up to how many people actually want that ETF, right? People want Bitcoin ETF, so it went up. People at this point do not want the Ethereum ETF, so the price has gone down. I think Solana is a massive increase in price, though. That's some big news. Also, sticking in the world of Solana, but kind of transitioning, Hoskinson 2.0 puts Cardano-Solana rivalry to rest. If you don't know what this is, Charles Hoskinson, I love him. I think he's a brilliant guy. I like him. Some people don't. And one of the best arguments I would say for anyone who doesn't like Charles Hoskinson is that he started all of these wars with other main chains, with XRP, with Solana, with Dogecoin. He, a while ago, kind of made some peace with Dogecoin community. Within the last week or so, he's made peace with the XRP community. And now it looks like he's extending that olive branch to Solana. Will they take it? I don't know. But I thought this was very interesting. Nice little AI image right there. I don't know why my mouse is not scrolling down. Let's read some details here. Hoskinson's recent ketamine therapy appears to have triggered a profound shift in his outlook. Last week, the Cardano founder apologized to the XRP community for his inflammatory 2022 remarks about the SEC lawsuit, signaling a notable step towards personal transformation. This incident wasn't a one-off. During a recent AMA, Hoskinson quickly shut down a viewer's comment saying, F Solana. He replied, "You can't say that anymore, guys. We've got to get together." Hoskinson admitted to being unnecessarily harsh towards Solana in the past, which may have stoked tribalism, but he apologized for his actions. A standout example was his viral meme, which compared Solana's network to outages to blowing on Nintendo cartridges to make it work again. I'm not going to play that, but it was a funny meme at the time. It's crazy to see him mending these fences. What I think is funny, though, we'll read the rest here. Taking a step further, Hoskinson floated the idea of attending a Solana conference next year while inviting Solana's community to a rare Evo set for August 2025 in Las Vegas. I love this. I've been saying this for a long time. I hate the tribalism in crypto. I wish people would stop choosing a coin and then saying I have to hate everything else. I think it'd be really cool to see Charles Hoskinson at a Solana event. I think it'd be really cool to see Solana people at Rare Evo. Let's make it happen. The funny part here, Hoskinson credits this transformation to profound experience during a ketamine therapy where he described being in the body of a wolf and hunting rabbits in a forest. Whatever works, you know. I don't know if I recommend anyone trying to repeat this experience of having the body of a wolf and hunting rabbits in a forest. There's a lot there we could go with and a lot of conversations. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is causing him to become a person who's mending fences, who's trying to see the crypto space be whole. I mean, this is something I've talked about for a long time. And the good news is we've combined and he's gone. But for the longest time, crypto users use their energy to attack other crypto people rather than attacking the real enemies. Different foreign leaders, Gary Gensler, regulation, and now we're winning out on the regulation. Gary Gensler's gone, and we're starting to see people come together. I hope this stays, though. I think the tribalism is pretty rough. I think it's pretty rough, and it's the bad look for the crypto space, along with kids who create coins to rug their audiences. That was a crazy story. NCR Legend says he's talking about Beaver's homes. Tim, Matic is number 100 now. Well, not the end of the world that it's number 100. Let's take a look here. Is it actually number 100? Let's just clarify that for a second. On coin market cap, it might not even be number 100. Honestly, it might be a little lower than that on coin market cap. That's not going to be the most important thing. So, okay, on coin market cap, it's number 79. Polygon Matic is number 79. But I think, make sure, poll, have they not adjusted it yet? Yeah, I'm right. Okay, so they've split Matic and poll. So this one, number 33, poll X Matic poll, it's number 33. Okay, so there was a whole system where you had to transfer all of your Matic to the new coin poll. It's still under Polygon. It's still the same thing, but I wouldn't look at that and say, oh no, Matic's so low. It's not, Matic doesn't exist really anymore. The fact that it's still in the top 100 is actually kind of amazing. What you're looking at is poll. Poll is the one. Polygon, they're no longer Matic. That's what will tell you how that coin is performing. Now, that being said, this is a coin that for much of the last bull market was top 10 area, easily top 15. It's now outside of that, number 33. Some of the reasons why I'm not I'm not as bullish on Pol as I am on other altcoins. Some people are bullish on it though, so I don't profess to be the expert on that. Don't not invest in Pol just because I am not investing in Pol. If you find a good reason to invest in it, you think it's going to come back with a vengeance, good. I would love to see it. I just gave up faith a little bit ago. Morgan Powell with the super chat said, Tim, thought you'd appreciate this. Turned 43 yesterday. Happy birthday there, Morgan. And knocked out 425 pounds for 12 reps on deadlift today. Come on. That's some weight. Always appreciate you and T-Shroom's content. Thank you for keeping us bros in the loop. Hey, Morgan, listen, I hope when I turn 43 that I can hit 425 for 12 reps. That would be, I'd love to be able to still do that. I will say in the weight room, I have decided to kind of go back. I mean, my lifts are pretty good for having a bum shoulder, and my knee is good, but it's kind of just, I don't know. I have to like get it warmed up every time for it to be good. But I kind of said, like, I'm done with heavy lifting. I'm going to kind of go back into some hit workouts, like a high intensity interval training. But maybe, Morgan, you're inspiring. I might have to go hit 425 for 12 just to stay on your level. But congratulations on that, and happy birthday. Badass White Boy is his name, so I have to read it. What do alts do when Bitcoin shoots back up after alt season starts? They keep going. You want to see what that looks like? Pretty much, I'll show you the dates of it, right? So Bitcoin, by the way, just this whole show, I don't think we're going to see 100,000. We have like 4 minutes left. We're still at 98.2. But anyway, so let's go back here towards 20. Let's go to the weekly chart. Just makes it easier to scroll back. There we go. Okay. So we peak out Bitcoin season the last week of December, the first week of January, right? And then we spent the next 2-3 weeks going to the downside, right? Falling all the way back down here towards 28.7. And then we resumed this rally. So that we resumed the week of the 25th of January, kept going. We ended up stopping, had a pause mid-February, right? And that's when we started to kind of trade sideways. If you go back to 2017, we really didn't pause after that. We came down, we just kept going, for a while until we had another pullback around, June, July. If you were to go to, let's go at Cardano, because Cardano was a big coin during the 2021 bull market, did a lot of stuff there. First week of January, explodes, had a little bit of pause towards the end. So we'll look at another one, but it still explodes, and it paused and stopped right there again, late February. If you were looking at Ethereum, for example, what did it do around that time? It went up, and it went kind of sideways there that first week, but then it continued. It didn't get its pause until, again, February 22nd. So my expectation is alts will pump for roughly a month and a half, 2 months before they get their cool off, based off historically how we saw that happen in the past. But even those doesn't mean the end of the bull market. It's just that's going to be its level to cool off. And Bitcoin will be cooling off there as well. So it's, just how that will work. So no, it alt season doesn't end the bull market whatsoever. Things will still go up. Bitcoin will go up. It'll just have a small retracement. Fade and TradFi, I'm calling it 100K at 3 a.m. Arkansas time. All right. Well, it's going to be interesting because I know I saw. So if you guys go to my X account, which I gotta pull up a new one because I don't want to take down that Gary Gensler. Let me find this. There we go. All right, share my screen. I don't know if I'm going to allow anybody to submit opinions at this point. It's too close. But I have a tweet pinned that's what date will Bitcoin hit 100K? Comment your answer below and bookmark this tweet because I will give whoever the closest guesser is $100. I'm gonna probably say to be entered for this, you would have had to comment. I'll go with September. Any comment after September, I'm not going to accept to win this one. And if there's a tie, I'll go to whoever the oldest prediction is of that same date. But that is that's something that's going to be interesting to see if maybe potentially we're doing a giveaway there here as well. We're going to wrap up the show here in just a second. It is 4 o'clock. Again, I don't think T-Shroom's computer's up and working. So more than likely, if anyone's wondering, I will be doing the Q&A for our VIP traders here in a second. I see a lot of people asking for me to look at a couple coins, looking at TIA, looking at a lot of people asking TIA. I'll tell you this. I will look at TIA. I'm going to write it down. And I have some other coins people want to look at for our VIP group. But I'm gonna do that in our VIP trading group. And I'll tell you this, like I will do my best on the YouTube shows to do some TA of requested coins, but the best place and the best way to get your coins technical analysis done would be to be in our VIP trading group, be in our Q&As, be in our trading lessons. We're going to talk about all that in our trading group here in just a couple of minutes. But with that said, it's going to wrap out today's show. It's been an absolute pleasure being with you guys. Make sure, if you haven't done it already, smash that like button. We still have 700 people in here. We almost hit 1,000 today. Didn't quite get there. Didn't get a 600 likes, but maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Smash that like. Hit subscribe. For the thought of the day, for the encouragement of the day, hey, guys, I'm not even going to go deep with this one. Buy some altcoins. Altcoins are about to make some moves. Make sure that you are not stuck and left behind. I'm going to make a video in the next couple of weeks with my biggest regrets so far this bull market. Don't make any more of them. Make sure you're ready for altcoin season. And with that said, love you guys. See you tomorrow. Adios.